The scandalous Windrush saga has demonstrated that the Home Office simply isn't fit to be left in charge of who comes in and who goes out of this country. Anyone who's dealt with the department on immigration issues knows what a slow, bureaucratic, hostile culture exists within it. Just go and talk with anyone who wants to get married to, and I'll say it slowly, a foreigner, and you'll discover just how hostile the Home Office is. Now, all that's before Brexit, so God only knows what it will be like afterwards. Whole industries like transport, health, hospitality and agriculture, to name but four, will rely on European workers. And they could be left in total crisis as the Home Office dithers over who can come in and who can't, even on short-term licences. The Windrush saga has shown the government needs to urgently review its plans for what will happen less than a year from now when we officially leave the EU. Promises about who can stay, depending on when they arrived, are likely to be meaningless.
Well, I must say, Greg, I do agree with your concerns, and I talk to a lot of different businesses about how they're preparing for Brexit and what their concerns are. And more often than not, people are talking about access to talent. How are they actually going to be able to get the access to the people that they need to hire? And you've got to make sure that actually, you know, we've got some form of system that people can trust in and actually trust that it's going to work, it's going to be effective and it's going to be efficient. And I do actually have concerns about whether enough thought has been put into this and there's enough progress being made and whether or not we're going to be ready to deliver, because I know that there's conversations about cutting-edge technology this and, you know, simpler than, was it LK Bennett online account?
Online, yeah.
Which I thought was, I've never set up
Amber Rudd's line, as easy to us as setting up an online account at LK Bennett, the well-known sister of course, Gordon and Alan. So
yeah, which I've never set up an online account for LK Bennett, so I can't say how easy that is or isn't. But I do share your concern that we're perhaps not going to be as ready as we would need to. And what I would like to see, and I don't understand why this government doesn't seem to do this more, is I don't understand why they're not bringing together some bright minds of business and technology minds to look at how are we going to fix and how are we going to prepare ourselves going forward post-Brexit.
I mean, there are currently, I think, 3.7 million EU residents who are who aren't British and haven't got British passports. Now, there's been quite a significant increase in the numbers applying, but that's only from 15 to be British, to have a British passport. That's gone up from, I think, just somewhere near 15,000 to somewhere near 30,000. But I mean, who's to say when those 3.7 million people came? We're saying they've got to be 5 years. And what's interesting is, which I didn't know, is that for the next 3 years, basically, anyone coming in, as long as they stay 5 years after that, they'll be entitled to stay. And I presume that people coming in now will make it clear that that's when they came. But I mean, I've talked to so many non-Brits who are Europeans who have no idea what's happening. I mean,
you know,
it's chaos.
One of the lessons I think Windrush has taught us all is that we should never underestimate how incompetent and how ill-informed many of our ministers are, and particularly the people in the Home Office. I mean, I think Amber Rudd currently is lucky to have a job, because this could have massive effects on Brexit, exactly what you're saying, because if the people who have been living here for a long time are suddenly told they need to produce evidence of employment or tax status or, you know, whatever, if they can't cope with the Windrush people, which was a few hundred thousand, how are they going to cope with 3 whatever million people?
Well, do you do what Boris Johnson says and have an amnesty?
Well,
but that wouldn't cover them.
No,
it wouldn't cover them.
But I mean, the key point from you, from what you said, Greg, we could be left in total crisis. Well, we could. But then again, you could say that they might learn from this utter shambles that has been Windrush.
Yeah, I doubt it.
We just don't know.
It was revealed yesterday.
But you would have to change the whole culture that has grown up at the Home Office. That's the problem. That actually, I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Amber Rudd because
So do I.
I think Theresa... This is all Theresa May.
She knew about it in 2016.
Yes,
No,
but this is
she knew about it last year.
Under Theresa May's watch.
But
These are Theresa May's policies.
Yeah, but she's not.
And I think it's terrible.
She's not the Home Secretary. Amber Rudd is, and this.
But the problem started under Theresa May,
Yes,
and I think it's terrible that
they knew
Amber
about
Rudd
it last year,
is
and they
being
knew about it
blamed
in
for everything that
2014.
Theresa May created. As David Lammy said in the comments last week, Theresa May created.
Well, are you
hostile
saying that
environment.
Theresa May was wrong to clamp down on the illegal people who were in this country in 2014? This is the key, because she wasn't wrong to do it.
But
The
the
Labour
fact
Party
is,
armies.
those people were not illegal.
No, I know, but the Labour Party...
We're not talking about Windrush people
But
being
the fact that that policy has impacted people it shouldn't have.
Yes, it shouldn't
shows you
have.
what
You're
a mess it
absolutely
was.
right.
Anyway, can we have a look at Amber? She had a bit of a terrible time with Yvette Cooper.
Yeah, she did.
We don't have targets for removals, but you did. I don't know what are you referring to?
We've just heard from the previous evidence that the Home Office and there are regional targets for net removals.
I didn't hear the testimony. I'm not sure what shape that might be in. But if you're asking me, are the numbers of people we expect to be removed, that's not how we operate.
I think, Greg, everything you've said has just been summed up there.
Can I just...
If the person in charge doesn't have a clue what's going on, what hope have we got?
Can I just underscore a
It's
point
gonna be a
that
mess.
Carol made? Hostile to illegal immigration. You do agree with cracking down on illegal immigration. No, can I just clarify that?
I agree with cracking down on illegal
Thank you.
immigration.
And
But
that's
you
what-
have
that's
to be
what these
careful
laws were
how you
for,
do
Julie.
it, because you know what? It then impacts anybody who is seen as different.
That was their
and that's the problem with what's going on.
It didn't purposely impact on them. They just didn't realise.
But it still
They didn't
impacted
think
on them.
Yes, I know it did. And
That's why
now,
you have to think this stuff through.
It was a
Well, yeah,
very
but-
unintended consequence to
Yes.
that policy change,
Yes,
wasn't it?
Still.
And she was right, because at the time in 2014, when she changed the laws, there were thought to be 1 million illegal immigrants in this country. Immigration itself was running at 300,000, and the illegal figure was increasing by 70,000 a year. So she had to do something.
But what's clear is they have no idea what an illegal immigrant is.
Is, actually.
I mean, that's the
Good
interesting thing
point.
about this. They have no idea. Because here you've got, you know, I was brought in by my dad, and I was 3, and I've never really registered for anything. And I'm now going to be... And I was being
But of course,
thrown out.
they never. The Windrush generation never needed paperwork. They didn't need to be legally registered here, and that
Because
only
they were
changed.
already citizens.
And that only changed when the immigration.
All right, but come
Anyway,
the EU discussion,
Yeah.
it's exactly the same again. I'll go along and say, I came here 4 years ago, so
When I was allowed to.
So I'm allowed to.
As we've mentioned Windrush, we need to hear what the Home Secretary Amber Rudd has said on this, and I quote, "It is only right that the significant contribution the Windrush generation have made to the UK is recognised. That is why I want to ensure they can acquire the status they deserve, British citizenship, quickly, at no cost, and with proactive assistance through the process. It is also why I want to make sure we set up a compensation scheme that works in the best interests of those affected," Home Secretary Amber Rudd. Greg, you've very accurately and succinctly highlighted the problem, and you're undoubtedly right, but what is the solution?
Oh, I don't know.
OK, it's not your job, by the way, you're not Home Sec.
No, but it's not only that, and I think it's... I don't know. I mean, if you've got... Changing culture in organisations is very difficult, and it might be you've got to stop taking away from the Home Office and give it to...
So do you buy... There's everyone in the Home... This is almost like my police debate.
I don't buy that everybody in the Home Office is
thank you.
racist.
Right.
What I will... Or anything like it.
No,
I don't think
not
at all. What I do buy is that there are cultures in organisation, and... Certainly since the coalition government first came in, and now in the period of the Tory government, that their determination to reduce immigration figures, net immigration, so in other words, get some out, get some... the determination has created a culture.
And to be fair to the people in the Home Office, and I don't particularly want to be, but they did say that they produced a document in 2015 which warned about the Windrush generation. It said that the immigration laws could impact on people here who were lawfully settled. And that's what happened. But Amber Rudd did say, didn't she say last week, that the people in the Home Office were treating the Windrush generation not like forgetting that there were human beings with lives, and that's true. We're treating them like numbers, and that's exactly what's happened.
A statement from Guy Verhofstadt, who is the Brexit coordinator for the European Parliament, and this is what he had to say. After the Windrush scandal, there was a lot, and there still is, a lot of anxiety over our EU citizens living in Britain. And they could have the same experience in their future. And I think it's true. I think we are going to see so much confusion a year
But then has he got a solution for how he's going to manage the UK? citizens living overseas, what he's going to do. Because what I have a problem with this is he's all very quick to come out and highlight and raise problems at this side of the fence, but he's going to have this same problem on their side of the fence. So I'd be really interested to see how he's going to manage that.
We could talk about this. We've got to go.